Hello and welcome to another Whoyouthis.com commentary, which is actually not a live stream. This is actually a pre-recorded event. I went 20-0 pretty much by myself on TDM Caspian border. Now when I say pretty much by myself, what I actually mean is that I didn't get revived once by any of my fellow teammates in the game whilst playing. So no defibrillators allowed here. Now before I elaborate further, I'm just going to quickly give a shout out and introduce you to Jetbat Unleashed, who is lurking in the background. Say hi, Jetbat.
Salutations, gentlemen. My name is Jetbat. My apologies. I actually am sick, so if I sound like Donald Duck, that's probably why.
I remember back in the MGO days when Merkant was teaching me to try and not suck a little bit less. Back in this is MGO 1. One of the things that still stick with me to this day is how he talked about using the environment at all times. Now, the beauty about MGO, for those who don't know what MGO is, it stands for Metal Gear Online, and it's a third-person shooter. So basically, think
Gears of War.
Yeah, so think Gears of War, think... now, the advantage in the third person and in MGO is that you always see yourself relative to the environment. So you know when you're pretty much in decent cover, as opposed to no cover. And that's something that I had to get used to as well. It's been a journey for me to get used to because Battlefield 3 is my first-person experience. I'm not really at all used to that concept. So it's something that I have to mentally think to myself, okay, am I in an open field here, shooting at the enemy? Am I inviting a 50-50? That's another thing as well that Merkant taught me. This is how you don't want a 50-50. It's not about who's the fastest gun in the West. It's about who's the smartest. He said, there are many, there's Snake Eater, Tony, Dark Alex, that was it. These are the type of players, MGO legends, who, according to Merkant, they were not necessarily fastest, but they were one of the smartest on the battlefield. So, quite frankly, they chose their moments when they engaged. It's all about making those battlefield decisions, directly in the game. You're making those clinical decisions. You're deciding when to engage. Being able to dictate the terms of engagement. This is also why I chose this type of playing style as well. Being this sniper with the single bolt action rifle, and also having the Magnum as my side gun. No more spraying. It also means to me that, as on Battlefield, when you take a shot, you appear on the radar. If you're not using a silenced weapon, of course. But even if you're not using a silenced weapon, for someone like myself who has Astra A40s or a decent headset, even with the silenced weapon, you pretty much know the direction, unless they're really far away, where that bullet is coming from, even if it doesn't hit. I think in my recent video as well, a lot of the times you've seen me, I'm very map conscious. I'm on the map all the time, a bit like when you're driving and you look in the rear view mirror. That's why I try to encourage my clanmates to make use of the... Not that I'm any better than them, trust me, they're all better than me, apart from maybe my good friend Gino, who I'm trying to help out. But a lot of the times I try to say to people, use the map, and this is also what I said in MGO, use the map as a rear view mirror, or a side mirror. When you're driving, if you're learning to drive, your teacher, if you've got a good teacher, they'll always tell you that you need to be checking that a couple of, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You need to be checking that regularly. By checking regularly for the dot, when I hear a sound, I glance at the map, where is that coming from? Is it a friendly? Is it an enemy? You'll see in my latest video, I've do that thing where I do the MGO sound and I spin round and I go to where the actual danger is, and then decide, whether I engage or not. This type of style doesn't come easy. It does require a discipline, because if anybody wishes to adapt this type of style, it's high reward, but there's a lot of learning to be done, a lot of dying to be done as well. But what I would like to say is that I really do appreciate how well Battlefield is, and I guess tables shouldn't really mean anything to you. The objective should mean everything, and your contribution to the win in helping the team achieve that objective should be, that should be where the joy is. But of course, thankfully with Battlefield 3, it's the only game, my very limited experience of online gameplay, where it actually rewards you for such practices. How do you do this? Now on MGO you had a goal route, you had a practice route. This isn't available in Battlefield 3. It doesn't exist. Goal practice doesn't exist. The best thing that I've been able to do to simulate this is to get into a private server and essentially treat that as the dummy room. Now thankfully the He Who Dares had a server for a limited time thanks to Trick PT, who rented us a server for 3 months. What I would do is create a close quarters lobby room, say for instance Zebra Tower, and then run around attempting to improve my aim via quick scoping specific objects. Once I've shot all the vases and stacked newspapers, to save time resetting the server to get those target objects back, I then decide to test my accuracy by shooting the individual letters on wall signs, or even the smoke alarms. Once you are satisfied and want to perfect your hopefully improved aim against real opposition that shoots back, you can then return to the public lobbies. So the closest thing to improving this type of style of play for me would be squad deathmatch, gun mastery, and TDM, in that order. Now, squad deathmatch is something I found. It's all about, quite frankly, finding. Or is it called squad team deathmatch? I'm not quite sure, but you get the idea. It's SQDM when you're in the server search field. So squad deathmatch, I recently. You want the closest thing to deathmatch, really, which is of course also could be gunmaster. But I'm going to tell you why squad deathmatch is even better. On the consoles, we have half the amount of players, 12v12. Being that, and but with squad deathmatch, what you're able to do is you're able to increase your numbers of opposition, of course, but because the only teammates you have are on your team, and what that does is that enables you to, of course, play with the setup as opposed to gun mastery, where you're one against everybody else. You don't have a say in the weapons. Of course, there are. I've heard about those rooms where you can be specific and like sniper only or pistol only. But I don't have much experience on it, so I won't talk about that. My guess is that if you doing just a sniper like bolt actions only, that maybe you don't have the secondary weapon available to you. You'll have to let me know in the comments whether indeed that's not the case. Do you know if that's the case, Jetbat?
That I don't know actually, but are you talking about where like they changed what guns are in the Gunmaster loadouts?
Yes,
like,
yeah. So that so that when you're climbing through the ranks, and that's another thing as well. You don't. Yeah. Anyway. I'll continue. So So the next thing after that, though, is so squad deathmatch is the best way to do this, in my opinion, because of you're able to actually choose the class of your choice of single bolt action and your choice of handgun, and then actually just practice, get the highest rate of practice with that setup against the most amount of opposition. So, the origin. Why do I play like this? Well, the idea of playing like this is the pursuit of perfection via the hardest means. So, yeah, I've touched on before, I want to try and achieve the highest degree of accuracy and clinicalness, and hopefully it results in the highest teamwork as well. Being a recon class, you really do have the ability to help out your teammates, especially when it comes to objectives. Like the respawn beacon and the usage of tugs and MAVs and so forth, as you've seen in this video. And I don't know, there's also something cool about not spraying and praying, just knowing that when you took that shot, you meant it. It's a lot less, gonzo way, and going through bullets. And that's another thing as well. The amount of times I hear people in my clan, we were playing, like screaming out, "Okay, who's got ammo?" Because they just burn through it within, we're 30 seconds into the game. I'm like, shit, I need ammo, which is, for me, I'm yet to experience going through all of my ammo without having actually dying first as a recon. But again, as I'm alluded to before, as I mentioned before, the beauty as well about not burning through your ammo is, you're less likely, unless you're silenced, to come up on the radar and alert your position to the enemy. So yeah, so my actual goals in actual playing Battlefield 3, I made a decision quite early on that I actually want my Recon 100. I don't know what I'm going to do after I do that, but I want my Recon 300 tag. But I want to get it through these means, just being an aggressive sniper, high accuracy, clinical decision making, because it teaches you this. It teaches you, playing like this, it teaches you that you have to be objective, you have to be clinical, you have to not only be accurate, but just, you know, you've got to be really you're aware. It makes you I'm so much more aware of how much ammo I've got left, or when to reload, choosing the best time to reload, also making the best usage of my support, either weapons or support tools as well. You know, so depending on the map and mode, there's you know, I'll choose Mav over Tug. I'll have my reasons why, depending on the map, depending on the mode. So, so those are actually my personal goals as to why I play the way I play. So, you know, that answers the many YouTube comments regarding, hey, why do you play like this? What are you doing? Why don't you? I want to see you use another weapon besides from the sniper class. Well, now you know for the most part. At the moment, I think at the time of this commentary, I am a level 60, so I've passed the halfway line. I'm a level 60 service star recon. But yes, but there's still a long way to go. So, but yeah. So yeah, this is this has been quite the
awesome.
good. Well,
I know, right? Freaking Scholar talks about Battlefield, man. Who would have thought that video games are actually deep and compelling mediums of entertainment?
They're not really. I mean, it's just so
nice. Mumra, don't even get me arguing with you right now. Don't even get me started.
Well, I'm just gonna wrap up here. This is nicely double the limit, so I will edit this down. So, thank you, viewers, for watching. This has been another Whodairs.com production, along with our lovely guest, Jetbat. Thank you for holding my hand through this.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Or even just having you knowing that you're in the background, willing to catch me if I fall. It's good.
Yeah, man. Don't get me wrong, man. Solo commentary is tough. Like, I still struggle with like getting it spot on. So I'm more than happy to help whenever I can.
So shout out to those that we just happened to mention. You know, Mia, Chuggy, our good friend as well, and you know, hopefully I might have the ability to do more of these in the future. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is myself signing out.
See you later, fuckers.
Later.
Machinima UK. If not, why the bloody hell not? Brand new channel in the UK for UK partners and directors only. Click on the flag and come and support us. Fly the flag for the United Kingdom and Ireland, of course. Then subscribe.